Hi, I'm Tammy Lynn Guns, the Respect Doctor. The topic for today is how we should really not be self-centered. We should not have a self-centered frame of reference because we live in a world that is shared with others. Last summer, I was really fortunate. I was able to go to New York City, and while I was there, I saw some Broadway shows, went to some wonderful restaurants, and I did a lot of sightseeing. One of the places that I ended up going to was I went to the Ground Zero. And while I was there, I saw the reflecting pools, which were certainly in honor of those who lost their lives. I also ended up going to the museum. And the museum that was there counted, the minutes, the days, the hours, just before, during, and after everything that happened with September 11th. It was very emotional, and it certainly brought back memories that impacted not only the United States, but truly the entire world. Well, what happened is I was really thinking a lot about, all the entire trip, but there was a lot of things that happened, right? There were rules that changed after September 11th in order to hopefully have this never happen again. So the Federal Aviation changed rules with regard to how we can behave on airplanes. They lock the cockpit door, and you're not allowed to congregate in the aisles near the bathroom that's right outside of the cockpit door. So I was on my flight flying back from New York City to Denver. And I can tell you, repeatedly, the flight attendants had to tell people. I was sitting in the third row of the airplane, so I was really close to that front restroom. And there were repeatedly times that the flight attendants had to say to people, Federal Aviation rules do not allow you to congregate near the front of the airplane. Can you please sit back in your seat, and wait until the restroom is open. Now, there were a lot of people, they could have gone to the back of the airplane, but they chose not to. And I know a lot of them didn't want to miss their chance, right? Some other more agile or quicker person on the airplane could have jumped up and used the restroom. So some of them were like, I'm just going to do what I want to do, right? Because they were living in a self-centered frame of reference. And so finally, what I couldn't believe was the flight attendant had her back turned because she went to go help one of the passengers. And as soon as she turned her back, this passenger jumped up, who she had already told twice not to congregate in the front of the airplane. So this person thought, well, the flight attendant's not watching. I'm going to go do what I want to do. Well, the flight attendant turned back around and now for the third time had to tell the same person, you cannot congregate near the front of the airplane. And it was, the reason why this was so amazing to me is I had just been at Ground Zero. I had just relived the devastation of September 11th. And yet these people were clearly disrespecting this flight attendant and disrespecting the flight, rules. What happened is, then we ended up landing in Denver and we were taxiing to our gate. And we ended up being early. So we're taxiing, and then all of a sudden the plane stops. And the captain came on over the overhead and he said, everybody, please do not get up. Please stay buckled in your seats. We are short. We stopped short of our gate. And the reason we stopped short is we're early. And because we're early, there's another airplane actually at our gate. So please just sit tight. Nobody get up. Keep your seatbelts on. It's basically for everybody's safety that we're doing this. I kid you not. The second the captain clicked off the overhead, 3 people jumped up out of their seats to get into the overhead compartments. Again, they were living from very much a self-centered reference, even though we share the world. And what I found so astounding about that was they didn't care. They were just going to do what they wanted to do. Now again, had the captain started moving the airplane and they fell over, I mean, that's their own choice, right? They got up. But the problem is, isn't it typical that those are the kind of people that are going to fall on the other passengers that actually obey the rules? Maybe some older gentleman or maybe some young little baby, or the things that were in the overhead compartments could come spilling out onto the innocent passengers that are sitting there as the plane starts to jerk forward and move. That day really sticks in my mind. The fact that people sometimes, and I mean, I love people, and there's a lot of really wonderful people that walk this planet, but I'm still, curious as to why there are others who continue to do what's in their own best interest, even though it can impact in a negative way others. It would be great if we could all respect one another and treat each other with kindness and listen to some of these rules that are actually there for all of our safety. Remember always that you are worthy, you are lovable, and you deserve goodness in your life.